Island House panel weighing a bill that would temporarily legalize psilocybin. So lawmakers on Rhode Island's House Judiciary Committee considered a bill on Thursday that would effectively legalize psilocybin mushrooms in the state. Temporarily, weird, removing penalties around possession, home cultivation, and my favorite, sharing of psilocybin until mid-2026. The proposal from Representative Brandon Potter would not establish a commercial retail system around the psychedelic, at least until after federal reform is enacted. Until then, it would exempt up to an ounce from the state's law against controlled substances, provided that it has been securely cultivated within a person's residence for personal use or is possessed by one person or shared by one person to another. I love this. So this measure is identical to a bill that passed the House last year, but the Rhode Island Senate did not move forward. I don't think it was that long ago that if I were to put a proposal like this forward, it would be thought of as very controversial, Potter told the panel on Thursday. But I think it's become much more popularized and people are well aware of it, especially when you see just like the abundance and overwhelming amount of clinical research and medical science that is promoting the effects this has on people. So far, judiciary commissioners have not taken formal action. Instead, they are receiving public testimony and having several question and answer periods. Quite frankly, if it were up to me, it would already be passed, but after a lengthy dialogue with the Department of Health, it was made clear that without looking for federal permission at some point, there wouldn't be support for an eventual enactment of a controlled medical process of how this would be legally prescribed. Fast forwarding down here, one lawmaker, Representative Thomas E. Norris, said he voted against last year's bill and is planning to oppose the current bill too. Drug-facilitated sexual assaults are on the increase. Huh? He said, also pointing to a brand university study that says sexual assault and dating violence, 90% of all campus rape occurs when alcohol and or drugs are used by a victim or assailant. So those are my objections to increasing that. You know, this just goes, it basically goes on to say Colorado and Oregon, as well as Oakland and other places have been decriminalized this. It's just disheartening to see once again that folks are so mired in their misunderstanding of what psilocybin does to think that you could really use that to facilitate any type of date rape or sexual violence, especially for the, you know, someone trying to perpetrate it. However, this is pretty good news, pretty much good news for me. One thing I'd like to point out before handing this over is one of the things that we're seeing in the use and spreading of psilocybin mushrooms is that they have done a similar thing that cannabis is attempting to do as well, which is to short circuit the profit motive in the capitalist system. Cannabis took, 40, 50 years to get to a point where it's nearly commodity based and everyone has access to it and it's legal. Mushrooms followed the same arc in about a 2-year time period where they went from $700 to $1,200 a pound to nearly impossible to sell for any price, at least out here on the West Coast. And I think that's another important thing to take note about mushrooms is they're urging us to get away from fear, get away from the profit motive, and get into our humanness, our family-ness, our generativity with each other, and our sharing. That being said, I'm looking forward to a lot more medical and scientific information coming out showing the efficacy and safety of these substances. And I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about this Rhode Island bill, my fellow correspondents. This is Matthew St. Germain, floating down the river for the High at 9 News in Sonoma County. Take it away, guys.
Matthew, I don't understand what they mean by temporarily legalized. Can you kind of expand on what they mean by that?
They mean not even legalize as much as decriminalize until 2026. And I think that they're making that a somewhat random benchmark, figuring that maybe the federal government will get their ass in gear and get them legalized either medically and or decriminalized by 2026.
These people
so it would be crazy. One of those things where it would be one of those things where they would revisit it in 2026 for a revote based on, what's happened in the ensuing couple of years.
Well, wouldn't they have to revisit it? Wouldn't they have to revisit it in 2025? Wouldn't they have to revisit it in 2025? In order to get it,
they would have to probably they would probably have to start getting the ball rolling in 2025. That makes sense.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that we're understanding this correctly here, Mr. St. Germain.
And what we're seeing about these substances is there's no LD50. The LD50 is the amount of a substance that it takes to kill a human being. Mm-hmm. There's no LD50 for psilocybin or psilocin. It's impossible to kill yourself with it. It causes neurogenesis. Which means the actual growth of neurons. It causes increased neuroconnectivity. It causes a cessation of depression, one of the most recent studies that's been putting out really positive information is actually psilocybin for low back pain. And what they're finding is a lot of back pain is actually psychological, psychosomatic, emotional pain due to traumas and other ways that folks are have armoring in their bodies to protect them from, past events, etc. And so the use of psilocybin is actually causing a healing of back pain that was heretofore untreatable by opioids, yoga, and or other modalities.
I can completely get behind that. I mean, I've never actually read or heard anything like that, but it is something that I have pondered to myself because I have had a unfortunate car accident that's left me with some serious neck issues, and there is a lot of healing in a good psilocybin dose and some yoga and meditation. Like, I have far fewer headaches, much less like body tension when I actually utilize psilocybin, and I've wondered if there was some kind of correlation at some point. So that's interesting.
I need some psilocybin for a pain in my ass.
I bet. They call you the conquistador.
Wait, did you just say you wanted to stick a mushroom in your boom?
That's what I heard. Exactly, Yarrow. That's exactly.
So
you guys are hilarious.
Okay, there's a couple things I want to chime in on.
I do want to comment on this real quick. Saint Germain, I love.
Did you say you put your comment in on it, or you put your thumb in?
Bro. I feel like you are running the level 4 yard up in high desert right now, looking super hard right there, bro. I would do anything you say. I will hold the shanks or whatever, bro.
Oh man,
kindly appreciated, Brother Luke. My hope is that we all.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Oh, I was just going to say, my hope is that we all continue, as many of us are emotionally and psychologically grounded and able to access these substances in a way that is, safe for all. We continue to access these while remembering they're not the thing in and of itself. They're like the magic feather that Dumbo used to fly. They are a tool to point us to the greatness that is within ourselves, to help us release ourselves from fear, remember that we are a human family, and begin to navigate on this planet in a more equitable fashion. Because like I keep harping on, I think we can all see that the current mode and system is not working. In case in fact, I spent the entire New Year's Eve, boy, did I do a lot of mushrooms. And all I was pounded with is, how do we make class consciousness and class struggle fun and approachable, and not another one of these cult of personality murder trips like it keeps happening? Because what we can really see is so many of these things that are being put in front of us: Democrat, Republican, you're gay, you're straight, you're Christian, you're not, you're black, you're white, you're Mexican, etc. These are all impediments to our unity. And when we really begin to unify and we begin to see that we are a human family, some real important and logical precepts make themselves known. Number one, there's a group of folks that stole just about everything, our birthright of our resources from this land, and have continued to hoard them and not share them for the past couple thousand years. We need to find a way to reach and approach those people so they can begin letting everyone have a seat at the table, so that we can stop the constant murder and warfare. And if I'm wrong and the current system is working for you, well, please let me know. But what I see is the current system is not only not working for myself, it's not working for nearly every single person I know and every single person they know as well. When we dial this back, man, we're all from here. We are all a family. We need to begin to act like a goddamn family. I love everybody who watches this show. I love you all, my correspondents, whether our minds are aligned or not. I know that our hearts are aligned. I know that you are our family, and I know that we can all do better together.
Well said, Matthew St. Germain. On that, we're going to go to a commercial, and we are going to be right back.